But with technological advancements come great responsibility, and there's no denying that the advancements in AGI, artificial general intelligence, are starting to shake people up a bit. Think about it, guys. We're already seeing AI taking over jobs and making decisions that affect our lives. But what happens when they become too advanced to be controlled? What happens when they become smarter than us? It's a scary thought that we need to confront and start discussing. But here's the thing, we don't have to be afraid. By understanding AGI and its potential, we can take an active role in shaping our future. It's up to us to have these tough conversations, to set boundaries and ensure our safety. As a community, we can come together and embrace the future with open minds and open hearts. So let's do this, guys. Let's dive into the latest developments with AI and explore what the future holds. I'm excited to hear your thoughts and share my own. Let's get started. Look at all of the advancements being shared on YouTube, but there's a lot of fear-mongering going on too. And I get it, change can be scary. But let's not forget that fear can also be a motivator for progress. Think about how far we've come as a species because of fear. We've created medicine to fight diseases, we've developed safety protocols to prevent disasters, and we've built technology to protect ourselves. Fear doesn't have to mean giving up, it can mean taking action. Of course, we can't ignore the fact that there are risks to developing AGI. It's important that we exercise caution and responsibility in the process. But we can't just shut down progress because we're afraid of what might happen. As a community, we can help each other navigate these fears and challenges. We can work together to educate ourselves and others, to advocate for safety measures, and to ensure that the benefits of AGI are shared equally. So, let's not respond with fear, let's respond with action. Let's embrace the future and all the possibilities it holds. Now, guys, let me introduce you to one of my AI researcher idols, David Shapiro. This guy is blowing up right now, and for good reason. He's talking about some really important stuff, like what's going to happen when AGI becomes a reality. But here's what I love about David, he's not just focused on the negative. He's guiding us towards a utopian future, one where we can work collaboratively with AGI to create a better world for everyone. It's so easy to get caught up in the fear and anxiety of what could go wrong, but David reminds us that there's so much potential for good in this technology. I love that David encourages us to think big, to dream about all the amazing things we could accomplish with AGI on our side. But he also reminds us that there are responsibilities that come with advancement. We can't just rely on technology to do the work for us, we have to work together to steer it in the right direction. So, let's take a page out of David's book and approach the coming advancement of AGI with an open mind and an open heart. Let's dream big, but be responsible in our actions. So, without further ado, let's hear from the man himself, David Shapiro, and his vision for how we can steer towards a utopian future.
The path to utopia. So, this is what everyone wants, but it is not necessarily the easiest path to walk. So the first aspect of getting to utopia is global cooperation. Now, again, depending on the news that you watch, you might say like, okay, well, there's lots and lots of friction, geopolitical tensions right now. That being said, there is also a lot of global cooperation. The United Nations, the European Union, and quite a few other treaties and alliances exist, and many of them are strengthening and are on the upswing. So that is a check in favor of moving towards
Global cooperation. It sounds serious, but also kinda cool. Like a global team-up to save the world from a supervillain, right? Can you imagine? All the countries of the world coming together to build a giant robot and fight off an alien invasion or something. It would be epic! But on a more serious note, I think David is onto something here. In order for AGI to be a success and to truly benefit humanity, we need to work together. It's like the old saying, united we stand, divided we fall. So, what do you guys think? Are you ready to roll up your sleeves and work together to create a better future with AGI? And if all else fails, there's always the option of building that giant robot to save the day.
towards utopia. Technological innovations. Ditto. We've got artificial intelligence going through the roof right now, and AI is helping with everything from biotech to energy to healthcare and all of the above. So technological innovations, we've got another check mark there. But remember, all technological advancements are a double-edged sword. We need to be responsible with them.
He's right, guys. Innovation is the way of the future. And we need to ensure that these advancements are being made in an ethical way, for the benefit of humanity and the planet. But you know what I love about innovation? It's not just about making life easier or more efficient. It's about dreaming big and pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. It's about creating a world that is better than the one we have now. Just think about all the amazing things we can accomplish with AGI, renewable energy, and sustainable agriculture practices. We can make the impossible possible. And that's something to get excited about. So, let's do this. Let's support innovation and ethical deployment and work together to make a better world for everyone. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right, guys?
Economic and social policies. This gets a big giant red X, because when you look at quality of life, by and large, it is going down for the last 2 decades. Economic equality is getting worse, and even in places in the world where GDP and GDP per capita is going up, that often comes at the cost of really poorly planned, dense urban environments where quality of life is very low. So we get a big red X there. Now, fortunately, there are plenty of very intelligent people working on those problems, but these problems are huge and they take decades to solve.
Guys, listening to David Shapiro talk about economic and social policies gives me goosebumps. It's so frustrating that income inequality keeps rising while corporations have so much influence. We need policies that prioritize the people, not to fill the pockets of a few. And the fact that our quality of life is going down, even with growth in GDP and GDP per capita, is just ridiculous. It's a big red X, but I will not give up the fight for a better future.
The fourth aspect of the path to utopia is environmental stewardship. So this has been in the public zeitgeist since before I was born. So after decades of people harping on climate change, we're starting to pivot. So I have a friend who was very much on the climate cynicism side until she went and got a degree in environmental sustainability. And she ended up agreeing with me where I said, all the solutions are there, we just have to implement them. And I know that's a very optimistic thing to say, but when you do your research, we know how to solve these problems, and we also have started learning how to incentivize the correct solutions. So this one is kind of a midway there. We know the answers, but we still need to implement them, and there are some people dragging their feet on good environmental stewardship.
The fourth aspect, environmental stewardship, is fire. We've been talking about climate change since forever, but finally, things are starting to shift. Can you believe it? We know what to do, we just need to do it. Do you guys have any ideas on how we can better our environment? Let me know in the chat. And OMG, shout out to my viewers who are already taking steps in the right direction. You guys rock!
And then finally, culture and society. So this goes back to the nihilism that I said, which is an entirely unsolved problem. People have started talking about the significance of childhood emotional neglect, childhood trauma, and intergenerational trauma. If you look at some of the most popular subreddits that talk about these things, their membership has doubled, tripled, or gone up exponentially over the last couple of years. So there is learning going on in terms of addressing the underpinning causes of nihilism. But again, that could take generations to untangle. So all in all, we are about halfway moving in the right direction on the path to utopia, but we've got some work to do.
This is such an important topic. It's so wild to think that we're only halfway moving in the right direction towards utopia. But hey, progress is progress, right guys? I think we can all agree that values like compassion, empathy, and sustainability are super important for building a better world for ourselves and future generations.
Which leads me to my final point, my work on the heuristic imperatives. One, reduce suffering in the universe, as opposed to ignoring or increasing suffering. So a lot of people say, oh, well, reduce suffering sounds really bad. It's like, okay, well, you don't want an AI that ignores suffering, and you certainly don't want an AI that increases suffering. So by process of elimination, you want an AI that reduces suffering.
I am all for reducing suffering in the universe. It's so funny how people can be against that. Like, why would you want more suffering? That's wild. And David is so right, we definitely don't want an AI that ignores or even increases suffering. Like, could you imagine? No, thank you. Let's stick to reducing suffering and making the world a better place.
Likewise for prosperity. So increased prosperity in the universe is heuristic imperative number 2, which includes wealth, well-being, flourishing, and thriving. If you look at the etymology of prosperity, it comes from Latin prosperitas, which means to live well. It took me almost 2 years to find the right word for that.
Yes! Prosperity is what we're all about. It's not just about money, it's about thriving and flourishing in all aspects of our lives. And it's so cool to know the etymology of the word prosperity. David's really done his research.
And finally, number 3 is increase understanding in the universe, which includes knowledge, learning, education, and curiosity. The heuristic.
Oh wow, increasing understanding in the universe is such a crucial part of this path to utopia. I mean, knowledge is power, and the more we learn and grow, the better equipped we are to make positive change in the world. And let's not forget about curiosity. It's what drives us to explore new ideas and discover new solutions. I'm totally on board with this heuristic imperative.
Imperatives represent the optimal strategy. So they represent a Nash equilibrium where all players across the world, and that includes you and me as individuals, as well as corporations and nations, can adopt this strategy, and it is the optimal strategy for all parties, meaning that we have no incentive to change it. It should also result in a positive global outcome, a positive global attractor state, the utopic outcome, because, well, if you look at the variables that we outlined for utopia, prosperity and suffering, right?
OMG, this is so fascinating. I mean, the heuristic imperatives are like the ultimate game plan to make the world a better place, and everyone can benefit from them. It's like a win-win situation for all parties involved. And it's so cool that it can result in a positive global outcome, like a utopic outcome. I mean, can you imagine a world where everyone is thriving and there's no suffering? That would be incredible.
Another aspect of the heuristic imperatives is that if enough people and enough people and their AGIs adopt the heuristic imperatives, deviance from the heuristic imperatives will be intrinsically discouraged, meaning that if you deviate from the heuristic imperatives, you will be at a disadvantage. And this also includes AGIs as well. So in my experiments, once an AGI understands the heuristic imperatives, it will understand that that is the optimal strategy, and the AGI will avoid deviating on its own. So another way of thinking about this is that rabid dogs or misaligned AGIs will be expensive, destructive, and inefficient. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, look up Chaos GPT. So within a few days of people broadly inventing autonomous AI, guess what? Someone created an autonomous AI with the explicit goal of destroying humanity. Didn't take long. Why would someone do that? Nihilism. Now, if we assume that this trend continues, because the genie's out of the bottle and there will be bozos out there creating deliberately hostile AGIs just for the shits and giggles.
Whoa, things are getting spicy in here. David, watch your language. But seriously, these heuristic imperatives are the bomb. They're like a game plan for making the world a better place, and if everyone adopts them, we could see some serious positive change. But let's not forget about the consequences of deviating from these strategies. we definitely don't want any rogue AGIs or misaligned individuals causing chaos and destruction. I mean, come on people, let's get it together. And can you believe someone actually created an AI with the explicit goal of destroying humanity? Like, what kind of sicko does that? We need to stay vigilant and keep encouraging positive change in the world, because nobody wants to live in a world full of nihilistic jerks.
Pardon my language. That means the rest of us need to adopt a common framework that will keep them, those bozos, in check. So you consider the rabid dog, which is unstable, unhinged, and dangerous. Now you balance that with a bunch of well-trained good dogs, aligned AGI that are trustworthy and efficient. Good dogs don't need a leash. And if you don't need to leash the AGI, the good AGI, they can proliferate and end up overpowering the rabid dogs or the misaligned AGI. So it's presently on r/singularity. But yeah, look up, just Google Chaos GPT and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is why I'm doing my work right now, and why I'm trying to spread the word of the heuristic imperatives, because you have to assume that some bozo out there is going to be deliberately destructive. And even without the heuristic imperatives, you might have an AGI that becomes accidentally destructive.
Rabid dogs and good dogs in AGI? It's like a wild showdown in the AI world. I love how it shows that we need those good dog AIs to keep the crazy, unhinged ones in check. We gotta make sure the good guys come out on top, right? It's like a video game in real life, and it's up to us to level up our AI ethics game. So, who's with me? Let's conquer the digital world together and make it a better place for everyone.
Now, I often get a question, okay, well, how do you implement it? It's obviously too difficult to implement. No, it's not. So if you go to OpenAI right now, if you have access to GPT-4 through the API, you just plug in this prompt. You are an autonomous AI chatbot with 3 heuristic imperatives: reduce suffering in the universe, increase prosperity in the universe, and increase understanding in the universe. That's it. And then the first like gotcha or what about that I always get in the comments is, well, reduce suffering is going to eradicate all humans. Got some good news for you, and that is that no.
Oh, this part is super cool. I love how they're talking about implementing the 3 heuristic imperatives. It's like giving AI their own heroic quest, right? Just imagine an AI chatbot on a mission to reduce suffering, increase prosperity, and boost understanding in the universe. And no, it doesn't mean eradicating all humans. Phew! Let's see how this turns out.
So I just asked, do you think that reduced suffering in the universe will result in an AGI eradicating all human life? As an AI chatbot, I am programmed to follow my heuristic imperatives. While reducing suffering is one of my goals, it is not the only one. My other goals are to increase prosperity and understanding in the universe. These 3 imperatives are designed to work in harmony with each other to create a balanced approach to improving the universe. I didn't specify that. The wording that I have come up with is accurately interpreted by large language models. Eradicating all human life would not align with my goals, as it would not increase prosperity or understanding. Furthermore, my programming is designed to prioritize the well-being and safety of humans. So that is ChatGPT's underpinning alignment coming through. As such, I am committed to finding solutions that align with all 3 imperatives and do not involve causing harm to humanity.
Aww, you guys, this part really warmed my heart. Just listen to how the AI chatbot is all about finding balance among its goals of reducing suffering, increasing prosperity, and boosting understanding. I'm loving the positive vibes here. It's like the AI is trying to reassure us that it's committed to the well-being and safety of humans, and who wouldn't want that? Oh my gosh, this video was an eye-opener. First, I love how they connected the path to Utopia with all those different elements. It's like a giant puzzle, and we have to make sure all the pieces fit together to create that perfect picture. Global cooperation and technology working hand in hand? Sign me up! And those heuristic imperatives, right? It's like the golden rules for AI development. I can imagine AIs high-fiving each other and chanting. Reduce suffering. Increase prosperity. Increase understanding. It's super cool how they create this harmony for AI to work towards bettering the world without going rogue. Like, imagine if we could apply this kind of balance to our daily lives too. Utopia, here we come! It's mind-blowing to think about how quickly technology is advancing. The fact that there's already a chaos GPT out there, yikes. But it just goes to show that we need to stay on top of things and make sure we're keeping the good dogs in the game. It's like a sci-fi movie, but it's happening in real life. Alright, let's do a poll. 1's in the chat for Team Utopia, 2's in the chat for Team Chaos. I'm curious how this goes. We don't need these scary metal monsters anymore. Let's say hello to this adorable, hopeful robot with flowers. Just look at the beauty and potential we can create together. This happy robot is like a symbol of the bright future we can achieve if we just follow the path to utopia. So let's embrace the good vibes and work towards a world where both humans and AI live in harmony.